Hi guys, welcome to Prof K YouTube channel. So today we'll be talking about number system. I know number system is a topic in mathematics that you know already. So for the sake of the people that don't know it, So the first thing we'll be starting with here is what? Is what we call the natural numbers. The first thing we'll be starting with is what we call natural numbers. And what is natural numbers? Natural numbers are also called what? They are also called whole numbers. Natural numbers are also called what? Whole numbers. Now, these are whole number from what? From 0 to infinity. Don't forget, I'm going to tell you the difference between natural numbers and what? And integers. Shey you understand? They look alike, but they are not the same. So I'll be telling you the difference. Just follow me. Natural numbers are also called what? They are also called whole numbers. Now, these are whole numbers from what? From 0 to what? To infinity. From 0 to what? To infinity. Now, mathematically, what do we say? We say x is greater than or equals to what? 0. You know when they say x is greater than or equals to 0, you know what they are trying to say. It means that 0 is also included. Abi? So it means that 0 is also included. That's the difference between greater than and greater than or equals to. Shey you get? When we get to inequality, I'll try to explain that one better. Now, mathematically, it means x is greater than or equals to 0. It means from 0 upward. That is what we call natural number. Now, where x is a what? Is a natural number. Now, that is. Now, what are the example of what we say natural number? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So these are the examples of what we call what? Natural numbers. These are what we call whole number. You know, another name for natural number is what? Whole number. Shey you get? Now, but the place where they belong matters. Now, if I say, these three numbers are natural numbers. This is 1, this is 0, this is 0. But where you place those numbers determines. So this is called what? 100. If I have something like this is called what? This is called 1 million. Do you understand? This is called 1 million. So where you place them matters. If I give you something like this is called what? 60. This is called 60. So you see that all these numbers, they are also still what? Natural numbers. They are between 0 and what? 9. They are between 0 and 9. Shey you understand? So that's the first thing with natural numbers. So now let me now explain the difference between, let's explain integers so that you will know the difference between natural numbers and integers. Now, what is integer? Integers, these are whole numbers from negative infinity to what? To positive infinity. Integers are whole numbers from what? From negative infinity to positive infinity. Don't forget, what do we call whole numbers? Whole numbers are numbers between 0 and 9. Abi? Those are the numbers we have. Shey you understand? So, but integer now are whole numbers from negative infinity to what? Positive infinity. Now, mathematically, what are we trying to say? It means minus infinity is less than or equals to x and is less than or equals to positive infinity. Don't worry if you don't understand this. This is what they are trying to say. It means where x is an integer. Now, what are the values of integers? That it means I can have minus 10, minus 7, minus 5, minus 3, minus 1, 0, 2, 4, 6, and so on. Shey you understand? And so on. So it means that I can even have minus 1000. Shey you understand? It's also what? It's also an integer. So integer ranges from negative infinity. When they say infinity, it means something we don't know the end. Shey you understand? It's something we don't know the end. And when they say to positive infinity, it means it's something we don't also what? We don't also know the end. Shey you understand? Now, do you now understand the difference between natural numbers and what? An integer now. Natural numbers are whole numbers from 0 to what? Infinity. 0 to infinity. If you are writing jam now, or you are writing WAEC, any exam, and is an objective question, and they ask you which one is an example of a natural number, and they give you option minus 10, they give you option, another option, let's say 1, and they say which of these is a what? Is a natural number. Will you go and pick minus 10? No. Shey you understand? So I'm trying to make you understand the difference between natural numbers and what? And integers. Now, natural numbers are what? Are numbers from 0 to what? From 0 to infinity. While integers are numbers from what? Are numbers from negative infinity to what? Positive infinity. So I hope you understand now. Now, coming to rational numbers. Now, Rational numbers, these are numbers that can be written as a what? As a fraction. Natural numbers are numbers that can be written as a fraction or in ratio. Can be written in form of what? Ratio. In which both the numerator and denominator are what? Are whole numbers. Or they can be made by dividing two what? Integers. Shey you know the difference between natural number and integer? Integer can be negative something. Shey you get? But natural numbers are what? Are just numbers from 0 to infinity. So rational numbers now, these are numbers that can be made, that can be written as a fraction or in form of ratio, in which both the numerator and the denominator are what? No, are whole numbers. Or they can be made by dividing two integer. Now, example of what we call rational number. It's just simple. 1 divided by 4. When you press 1 divided by 4, it will give you 0.25. So this is just a what? A rational number. So a rational number is when you is a fraction, or it can be written in fraction or in what? In ratio. So another example is 250 divided by 100. It will give us 2.5. So these ones are examples of what? Rational numbers. When it gives you in form of decimal, an approximated decimal. So irrational numbers now, these are numbers that cannot be expressed as a fraction. Irrational numbers are numbers that cannot be expressed as a fraction and has a decimal form consisting of what? Of an infinite numbers. When we say irrational numbers, it means when you divide a fraction, when you divide a number. An example is just like pi. When we press pi will give us 3.141592654. Do you see? The numbers after the decimal are long. Shey you understand? So that's just the simplest definition between the difference between rational numbers and irrational numbers. I hope you understand. So irrational numbers are just what? Are numbers that it cannot be expressed in form of fraction. That's just it. It cannot be expressed in form of fraction. They are not in form of fraction at all. That's what we call irrational number. This cannot be expressed as a fraction. Shey you get? And has a decimal form consisting of an infinite number. That is, the decimal, after the decimal point, we have a lot of numbers at the back. Shey you get? So that is what we call irrational number. So if they ask you in the exam now, they ask you which one is an example of a rational number, or which one is an example of an irrational number, just take your calculator and punch the calculator. You will know which one is a rational number and which one is not, and which one is a rational number. So rational numbers are just numbers that the decimal form is it's already approximated. Just like 250 divided by 100 is just 2.5. There's no infinite number at the back of it. This is just the simplest form of it. So these ones are what? Are rational number. Why irrational numbers are numbers that it cannot be expressed in form of fraction. That's number one. Take note of it. It cannot be expressed in form of fraction. So it means pi is an irrational number. Root 2, when you press square root of 2, you see that it has 1.4142 at the back and so on. So you see this one too is also an irrational number. Square root of 3 will also be an irrational number. And another example of irrational number is what? Is exponential. Exponential. When you press exponential, is also what? Irrational numbers. Shey you understand? So do you know the difference between rational numbers and irrational numbers now? And you also know the difference between natural numbers and integers now. I hope you understand. So do well to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you actually find this helpful, like the video and also comment. A word of appreciation goes a long way. So, and do well to watch the next video. There I'll be explaining real numbers, prime numbers, even numbers, and odd numbers. Thank you.